This is Sunrise Extra, streaming live on Wave Now.
Hi there, waking up to a lot of snow out there. JCPS on NTI, a lot of other school districts doing the same thing or just giving kids a snow day as we say good morning. I'm Shannon alongside Olivia, Tawana, Rob is here, and you've been busy today.
Oh, it has been nonstop.
Looking at the traffic.
I said it's a glass half full kind of thing. It's looking a lot better now than certainly when we came in a couple of hours ago when you just didn't know what you were going to get into, but hopefully the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, we have some good news in terms of the snow that's out of here, and we get to make cute snowmen now.
He's so cute. He's like the fifth member of our team this morning. Yeah.
Tiny, adorable, can't quite reach the handles of the mower there, but it's still cute. For those of you heading out this morning, what we're going to be contending with, of course, the travel issues because of the snow that we've seen. But at least for those of you who don't have to head outside, the view is quite pretty. We're looking into Paristown this morning where everything is still pristine. Of course, you have that ice rink now covered in snow, so I feel for the people who are going to have to clean that off. But hey, at least we are not dealing with incredibly cold temperatures across the region. Clouds still holding on. The snow is now gone, and we're off to a pretty good start. We're sitting in the 20s and low 30s across the entire region this morning. And keep in mind that these temperatures are not going to budge through the morning and into the afternoon because of these clouds, because of the northerly wind and the snow on the ground. So we're going to keep the alert day going, mainly because of the travel impacts that will linger in so many spots. We'll also keep an eye on those pavement temperatures because for a lot of us, those are near or even in many cases below the freezing mark, and that could lead to additional slick spots, even if the road is treated. Rob, just a reminder to everybody, just still take it slow.
Absolutely. That is the key to this morning, and a lot of patience. And I'm just being told here, we do want to pass along something to you. Major backup is happening in the northbound lanes. This is on the watershed near the I-71 interchange. At least one vehicle involved in a crash there. The other areas to watch out for include I-64 East near Grinstead Drive after a reported crash. You see the big picture there. This is 65 at Grade Lane. You're going to see those wet pavements out there. Be careful, especially on the overpasses and bridges, as those tend to freeze over the quickest. So you always want to give yourself a lot of extra time. This is 64 at Oxmoor Farm. Again, just wet pavement, but traffic moving along pretty good out there right now. You see the red spots. Those are the ones to avoid. Yellow means that we have a lot less yellow, which meant the slowdowns from earlier this morning, but not nearly as much as we saw an hour or two ago. Your drive times now not looking too bad, except that Shepherdsville to Snyder. Look at that, 44 minutes. Why is that? Not one, but two car crashes, according to authorities. On 65 North, this is in Bullock County near State Route 1526. This is in the area around the West Hebron Lane area. So not one, but two accidents still being cleaned up there. So traffic at a standstill, really slowing your commute down there. Otherwise, your drive times in Southwest Louisville, not looking too bad. Still 10 minutes or under. Back over to you.
All right, well, let's take a look at how the roads are this morning with Kirsten Foote.
Yeah, and Kirsten, how have things changed throughout the morning? I hope they've gotten better with the snow teams being out there.
Yeah, I feel like they've gotten a little bit better, you guys, but there's still some patchy areas on some roads. I mean, we were on Shelbyville Road probably about 40 minutes ago, and it was still pretty snow covered in some parts, and then along Lexington Road and Brownsboro Road too. So there has been some improvements. We are actually over in Jeffersonville, Indiana, where it looks just so pretty and Christmassy this morning here, and roads are looking pretty good at this point in time right now. There's a little slush on the roads, but nothing too major, nothing that's really going to hold you up this morning. There are maybe some slick spots too, so we're definitely still keeping it pretty slow this morning out here, as with everyone else too. But conditions, I think, have improved throughout the morning, and we're seeing some more crews out, and we've seen some plows doing some work with their plow down, others with their plow up, which of course we've heard from officials that means that they're going to restock on some of their materials there. But overall, lots of people, from what I've seen, they are keeping it slow and increasing following distance. I have seen a few parts when we were on the interstate earlier where cars might have been following a little too close to each other. So definitely just want to keep it slow. This morning we have a plow going the other way from us right there. But if you have to head out and you're heading on the interstate, really watch for those on-ramps and those bridges. Of course, those can be pretty tricky out there, and I do have some snow cover on them still. But again, just lots of time this morning. If you have to head out, give yourself lots of time. Shannon, Olivia, back to you guys.
Thank you, Kirsten. And JCPS made the call to move to NTI shortly after 4:30 this morning. Other districts also making the same decision or just deciding to close altogether. You can get the latest list by going to wave3.com. This also means that any extracurricular activities for JCPS will not happen tonight.
The snowfall will be the first test for the changes Metro leaders made after the big freeze in January. After getting complaints over the process to remove the snow, the city decided to make changes. Metro's Department of Transportation says while some roads were removed from the list that's treated and plowed, 24 others have been added. Treatment of the roads started yesterday with teams filling their tanks and then spraying streets with brine.
This brine will keep the snow from adhering to the roadways. Roadway temperature right now is about 31, 32 degrees, something along those lines.
Brine is the first step of a three-step procedure to remove snow, followed by salting and plowing.
And if you do have to head out today, the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet sharing some tips. They say slow down, give the snowplows lots of space, and also keep a distance of about 3 car lengths from the car in front of you. And when you approach intersections, off-ramps, bridges, or shaded areas, slow down.
Today, Governor Andy Beshear and the Transportation Cabinet are set to give an update on the state's response to the snow. Governor Beshear, Secretary of Transportation Jim Gray, and Kentucky State Police will talk about winter readiness efforts, response activities, and the importance of driving safely during winter weather. That's happening this morning at 10 o'clock in Frankfort. And here's a look at the bigger picture right now from the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. Counties highlighted in blue means KYTC is patrolling the area. Counties in red means they're salting and plowing in those areas. KYTC says crews will continue working nonstop to treat state-maintained roads.
You can stay on top of weather advisories, school closings, and any traffic issues by downloading our free Wave News app. You can also send us pictures of the winter weather. The app is free, again, to download, and you can find it in your app store. Still to come, the World Health Organization weighing in on drugs designed to help people lose weight.
You'll hear the new recommendation from the group.
And good morning to you at 7:09. It is a tricky commute out there this morning, but not nearly as bad as what we saw a couple of hours ago as the snow hopefully tries to taper off. Look at the big board right now. Not too bad out there. We do have a report of a traffic alert for you. 64 East at Grinstead Drive cleanup still after a one-car crash in that area. Your drive time's not looking too bad. The real trouble spot, Shepherdsville to the Snyder, at least 43 minutes. That's been right around where it's been hovering for about the last 2 hours. Why is that? Because not one, but 2 different car crashes, according to authorities, authorities at 65 North in Bullitt County near State Route 1526. This is near the West Hebron Lane, so you're going to want to watch it. They are calling it standstill traffic still at this point. Your drive times otherwise through southwest Louisville, not looking too bad, 10 minutes or under. The big picture showing the traffic cameras. Again, you're going to have kind of some icy patches out there this morning, especially on the bridges and overpasses, which tend to freeze over quickest. Otherwise, just watch your speed and certainly give yourself a lot of extra time. And don't forget the snow scraper when you head out the door. Olivia.
Absolutely. I think extra time is going to be the key words that you're going to hear all morning, because we all experience that this morning too.
Yeah, about twice the time for me.
Same.
How about you?
Same. I moved extra slow because I ended up behind 2 snow plows, and then I had an extra one behind me. So yeah, I was creeping along the highway. But overall, things are looking good weather-wise. Significant improvement. All the snow that we had across the area, now that is all the way to our east. But the clouds, oh yeah, these clouds are going to be clingy. They ain't going nowhere for today. Continue to keep an eye on the area of low pressure, now racing off towards the east, taking all of that snow, all the rain, all the wintry weather along with it. The storm tracker continues to travel across our area, currently moving on Broadway through downtown Louisville, and things are looking pretty decent on this roadway. Not a lot of complaints there. It has been treated, it's still plowed, but you still want to make sure that you are moving slow as you're heading out and about. And a beautiful shot this morning, looking into the core of Bardstown, where you have everything lit up for the holidays and that snow around as well. Just absolutely gorgeous there. Now, keep in mind, our temperatures are basically in the upper 20s and low 30s. Haven't seen them budge so far this morning, and we're not expecting them to move very much throughout the rest of the day. Going to hovering those 20s and low 30s through the morning into this afternoon, keeping a lot of these clouds overhead. Now, once we get into tonight, yes, we still have the clouds, but our temperatures will move and they will drop. We will end up in the teens and the low 20s for your Wednesday morning. So that is something that you want to make sure that you are prepared for. The colder temperatures coming our way tomorrow morning. This is the kind of weather that you want to make sure that the faucets are dripping throughout the night for. So giving you that heads up there. But with some sunshine trying to come our way Wednesday afternoon, our temperatures will try to climb into the mid 30s, but a lot of the sunshine that we get will go towards melting the snow, not as much warming up our temperatures. Another system arrives on Thursday. This is going to be a cold front. It will try to bring a few extra light snow showers, some flurries our way for Thursday morning. But as of right now, not looking at any substantial impacts, but the timing of this could end up causing problems on its own, which is why we are watching it. Another low races by for Friday. This has a better chance to bring us more of that snow, more of that rainfall, but the track of the low and the timing of that low will be key to what we see to end the work week. Rolling into the weekend, Saturday, not too shabby, but here we go again. Another system arrives on Sunday, bringing some more of that wintry weather into our forecast. The big thing that we're watching with this is the timing, because some models have this moving in Sunday morning, while others have it moving in Sunday night. So we'll keep an eye on that, and don't be surprised if you see those rain chances, snow chances, and temperatures fluctuating there. Another system arrives by the middle of next week. Olivia.
All right, thanks, Tawana. And emergency management leaders are asking drivers to give plenty of room for plows to do their work. Louisville has a fleet of more than 100 snow fighting vehicles out on the roads. So if you see them, your astronaut tailgate or try to pass the plows, do not cut in front of the trucks and always stay 3 car lengths behind snow plows. The mayor says some of the equipment the snow team is using has been upgraded since last winter's major snowfall.
Indiana Department of Transportation crews are also out this morning. The blue and orange icons on this map are snowplows that are treating roads this morning. INDOT says it plows every interstate highway, U.S. route, and state road every 2 to 3 hours, with salt helping to melt between passes. Now, if you see a plow, they're asked that you give them some space, and INDOT says if those blades are up, it means they're reloading on salt or fuel. Costco is suing the Trump administration over tariffs. The company is seeking a full refund of all tariffs collected under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The retailer says the lawsuit is a response to President Trump's executive order, which imposed what he called reciprocal tariffs. The legality of the president's sweeping tariff agenda is currently under review by the Supreme Court. Costco doesn't say in the filing how much the company has paid in tariffs, but U.S. Customer and Border Protection data says up through late September, importers have paid a total of nearly $90 billion. There are growing calls for oversight after the White House confirmed a second strike was launched on an alleged drug boat from Venezuela.
A U.S. official and a source familiar with the actions tells NBC News it happened on September 2nd. The Washington Post was first to report the second strike claim because Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered all on board to be killed. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said on Monday Hegseth had authorized Admiral Frank Bradley to conduct the strikes. Meanwhile, some lawmakers and legal experts say the second attack could constitute a war crime. The Senate and House Armed Services Committees are also launching inquiries into the incident, promising rigorous oversight.
Despite a ceasefire, the Palestinian death toll from Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip continue to rise. Gaza-based health authorities say more than 70,000 Palestinians have been killed since October 2023. The United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund says children have been killed at a rate of about 2 a day since the latest ceasefire deal went into effect on October 11th. There has been some dispute over the Gaza border, and Israel Defense Force, the IDF, says they have killed 2 people who crossed over the border. Gaza officials say Israeli soldiers have been conducting operations inside the border.
Luigi Mangione was back in a New York State courtroom Monday. He pleaded not guilty to 9 state counts, including 4 federal charges filed separately. The federal charges come with the possibility of the death penalty. Mangione is accused of fatally shooting the CEO of United Healthcare outside of a Manhattan hotel last year. Mangione's attorneys argue the contents of a red notebook that was allegedly found in his backpack should not be admitted into evidence, saying they would show prejudice against Mangione at his multiple upcoming trials.
The World Health Organization is now recommending GLP-1 drugs for adults trying to manage obesity. That includes drugs like Zepbound and Wegovy. The WHO says it is not a singular answer, and that GLP-1s combined with a healthy diet, physical activity, and counseling can be an effective form of long-term treatment. Experts add genetics and environmental factors such as rising stress levels or increased exposure to processed foods can likely contribute to obesity as well.
The U.S. Supreme Court is taking up a $1 billion online piracy case. It comes following a dispute about peer-to-peer file sharing like BitTorrent. Record labels say internet companies should be liable when customers download pirated music. A jury previously ordered Cox Communications to pay labels $1 billion for widespread copyright infringement. However, Cox Communications says that would turn providers into the internet police and would result in millions of customers losing service. Big tech companies like Google and X are backing the providers. The court's decision will determine how copyright law is applied to file sharing on the internet and possibly even future technologies like AI.
Attorneys for Sean Diddy Combs have sent a cease and desist letter to Netflix, demanding it not release a docuseries featuring the hip-hop mogul. Sean Combs' The Reckoning is scheduled to start streaming today. It was produced by Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. In a statement provided to CNN, a spokesperson for Combs accused Netflix of using, quote, stolen footage that was never authorized for release in what they called a shameful hit piece. A statement from the docuseries director, Alexandra Stapleton, says the filmmaking team obtained the footage legally. Combs is serving a 4-year sentence after a 2-month trial ended with his conviction on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution.
The United States is not commemorating World AIDS Day this year, as it's done for decades in the past. The commemoration has been marked every December since 1988. The day is meant to raise awareness of efforts to fight the deadly disease and remember those who died from it. Despite not taking part in World AIDS Day, a senior Trump administration official stressed the U.S. would continue its work to combat HIV and AIDS. Globally, nearly 40 million people are living with the virus, with HIV, which is the virus that causes AIDS, including 1.2 million people in the U.S.
And still ahead right here, one library branch closes while another one in our area opens.
We'll tell you all the details about the new place to grab a book coming up. It's not just road crews working to clear the snow this morning. Several businesses and homeowners are shoveling a clear path for the first time this season. We found one man who was shoveling outside of the YMCA on 2nd Street. Here's how he described removing the snow.
I mean, right now it's coming up pretty easy, so I think it's easy to drive in for now, but once the temperature starts to drive, it can get pretty nasty. I'm never really ready for winter. It's one of my least favorite seasons, but we make it happen one way or another.
It looks like he's doing a great job out there, and health leaders remind people to be careful while shoveling because it can lead to overexertion. First responders also reminding people to be safe when heating their homes. House fires happen every winter, a third of which are caused by space heaters. So if you're using one, safety is key. Make sure the heater is not old or damaged. Never plug it into an extension cord. It has to go directly into the wall. Never leave it running when you leave the room or house. And also be sure to not sleep with it on.
The Louisville Free Public Library's main location closed for renovations yesterday. It'll be closed for a year, but now there's another library that is opened. It's the Portland Library. It will reopen today. There's a ribbon cutting ceremony planned at the branch on Northwestern Parkway. The nearly $9 million renovation project expands a collection of books and materials and separates the branch's children's and teens areas. To celebrate the grand reopening, the library is hosting a free family fun day this Saturday from 10 until 2.
Just in time for the holidays, we've learned every veteran's grave will now have a wreath at the Zachary Taylor National Cemetery. More than 11,400 wreaths will arrive at the cemetery on December 10th, and they'll be placed December 13th. Information on volunteering to assist with the Wreaths Across America campaign at Zachary Taylor, that's available on wreathvolunteers.org.
Metro leaders want to make sure young athletes have everything they need to be successful in their sport. Councilwoman Tammy Hawkins is inviting families to a free athletic wear giveaway. It's happening tomorrow at the Dare to Care Community Kitchen on South 28th Street from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. They'll be giving out new hoodies and cleats for free. Hawkins says the event is open to the public and supplies will be given out on a first come, first serve basis while they last.
We'll be right back.
This Wave News update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good morning to you at 7:26. I hope your morning is starting out on a good note. Certainly a lot clearer and easier to get around than it was just an hour, maybe 2 hours ago. We are watching reports right now of a one-car crash reported within the last few minutes at 64 West at the Blankenbaker Lane area. Again, no reports of injuries there, but you're going to really want to watch your speed as you do throughout any parts of the metro this morning heading out. Certainly keep an eye on the big picture right now. A lot more yellow there than what we usually see. That does mean you're kind of slow down spots there as cleanup crews and plow trucks are out there trying to do their job. So certainly move over and give them a lot of extra time. Your drive time's not too bad right now, especially in Shepherdsville to Snyder. That was up to almost 45 minutes down there at the bottom of the screen earlier because of not one but two car crashes. We're down to 17 minutes, as you see, just changing on the big board there. And your drive times through Southwest Louisville, 10 minutes or under on most of the major metros. Otherwise, looking pretty good. The traffic cameras showing a lot of kind of patchy spots out there. Watch your speed on the interstates, the overpasses and bridges, as those tend to freeze over as well. Now let's send it over to Tawana.
Very good to start off the day. So that's certainly some good news. And the snow is now out of our area. The clouds still hanging on, though, and those are going to be clingy, going to hold on for the rest of the day. Now, looking at our Skytrack camera in Bardstown, see what a beautiful sight it is with the snow on the ground. The roads looking pretty good in that spot. But keep in mind, a lot of the highways, a lot of the interstates are good, but the side streets still need work. So take it slow as you're heading out. Temperatures in the 20s and low 30s for this morning. And we're going to keep our temperatures right there with the clouds around through the rest of the morning and into the afternoon. Now, once we get into tonight, that is when we're going to get a little bit colder. Keep in mind, you may have to keep those faucets dripping as we fall down into the teens and low 20s for tomorrow morning. We'll watch for some more rain and snow by the end of the week.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. Thanks so much for sticking with us here for Sunrise Extra. Looks like we have quite a few people joining us on our feed right now, especially on YouTube. I'm sure you all know exactly what you want to talk about, and that's got to be this snow that we're all waking up to. There's something special about just waking up and seeing how much snow we actually got. So we're going to talk about that. Of course, we're going to talk about the new football coach for UK and then plenty of other holiday happenings. But I do want to go straight to our traffic maps and show you what we're looking at with TriMark, this is something you can actually pull up from home. So if, hey, maybe you have to hit the roads today, you want to know how the roads are looking specifically in your route. This is the tool that we use every single day to look at, some trouble spots out there. For example, one of the trouble spots that we've seen this morning has been around I-64 and I-265, where it looks like that ramp from 64 westbound onto 265 north has a disabled vehicle, definitely slowing things down in that area. Another trouble spot that we've seen is this construction zone. This is actually on 71 near I-264 near 71. And you can pull up the camera there where you can see all of those brake lights trying to get to that exit there to 71. So just something that you can check out, and you can use this tool at home throughout the day too. So as I pointed out, it has all those cameras on there. And if you see on the right, it has all of the major reports where shoulders are blocked. They might have construction in those areas. Quite a few disabled vehicles that are taking up the shoulders right now. And then, of course, plenty of crashes. So please, please be careful out there as you're hitting the roads. And again, you can check that. It's absolutely available to anyone on TriMark's website. So check that out before you hit the roads and make sure you are leaving early and being patient. But Louisville, not the only area dealing with winter weather right now. Forecasters say a bomb cyclone is forming over the eastern U.S. today, and that means it's rapidly strengthening storm that quickly drops in pressure. Amy Kiley reports on the weather and how it's affecting people across the country.
Tuesday is the day that the Northeast is going to see the majority of the snow from this winter storm.
The third winter storm of this week is sweeping across the country. The record-setting doozy is hitting the eastern U.S. today. It's bringing northern snow, southern rain, and a chance for Gulf Coast tornadoes.
It is going to be a wet, sloppy mess with rain heavy at times throughout parts of the southeast.
Farther west, people are digging out after previous rounds of snow and ice. The FAA says some airports could see ground stops today after one at Chicago O'Hare last night.
You are in Chicago, you got to be ready for any storm.
Officials say a child was taken to the hospital with minor injuries after this school bus crash in northern Illinois yesterday. This video from Topeka, Kansas shows school bus drivers stopping on the side of a slippery highway. Nearby Kansas City has a new daily snowfall record from yesterday. And in Minneapolis, a man is using the recent weather to build an ice castle.
There's lights in the castle. There's all sorts of caverns. There's ice slides. There's going to be a little bar.
In addition to the snow and rain, forecasters predict new low temperature records in some parts of the country today.
The weather pattern that we're in keeps it cold for most of the week, for most of the country.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And as she pointed out, with so many places across the country dealing with weather, that could create some issues for people who are maybe traveling, maybe heading home from Thanksgiving. Here's a live look at the departures from Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. It looks like one flight has already departed, or 4 flights have departed. We've got 2 delays right now. It looks like a United flight to Chicago, another Southwest flight, this one to Orlando. Only minor delays. Everything else seems to be on time right now. So they must be doing good work clearing those runways and making sure everything is cleared for all of those travelers this morning. Some JCPS parents are giving negative feedback on JCPS's plan to close and consolidate some schools. It comes as the district is looking to save money as it faces a $188 million budget shortfall. The proposal includes plans to consolidate King Elementary with Maupin Elementary. Another part of the plan includes closing Zachary Taylor Elementary and Liberty High School. JCPS Superintendent Dr. Brian Yearwood told parents at a meeting last night he understands their concerns, and the district did look at other options, but leaving things the way they were would cause more problems down the line. Critics of the plan say staff are thinking about the money and less about the students and families they're impacting.
Dr. Yearwood, it is my question to you. Why are you messing with our children?
Teachers and staff are working hard to improve the school, and this growth should not be ignored or punished. Why close a school that is improving?
Another community forum that was scheduled for tonight at the Center for Professional Learning has now been moved because of the snow. JCPS on NTI today, and any activities related to JCPS will be totally rescheduled, and that will now happen for that community forum on Thursday at the Stewart Auditorium. LMPD says it's working to learn more about a person found dead inside of a car that was pulled from the Ohio River near Joe's Crab Shack. Detectives still need to determine the person's gender and identity. The department says its homicide unit is treating this as a death investigation, and they'll show more details once an autopsy is done. LMPD says the car went into the Ohio River on Saturday night. That car was recovered yesterday. They had to wait some time because of the current levels, and now investigators are also trying to figure out if this was an accident or if it was intentional. This morning, LMPD is still looking for a person connected to a hit-and-run crash in which a 7-year-old girl was killed. Investigators say Madison Marie Fisher was killed when a driver hit the car that she and her grandmother were in on Sunday. It happened on Taylor Boulevard near Iroquois High School. Police say the driver also hit a pole and caused damage to a third car. Fisher's family tells us her grandmother suffered a couple broken bones and is recovering in the hospital. The driver was arrested, but police aren't releasing their name because they're a minor. Police are still searching for a passenger who was in the car with that minor. A man who lives near Taylor Boulevard says he sees problems all the time in this area.
This stuff happens all the time. I see there's times where my buddy's trying to leave out of here, and there's a car literally almost missed from my neck several times. And then there's a lot of cars coming through here, a lot of exhaust, and trying to race. And you see someone going down here like 80 miles an hour, no problem.
So if you know anything about the crash, you can call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD. After allegedly trying to hide from police, a sex offender and his female companion have been arrested in southern Indiana. Deputies in Scott County say Adrian Runyon was camping in a tent near Austin by I-65 to avoid police. Deputies tell us Runyon failed to register as a sex offender, and they arrested him after getting a tip. Runyon faces several charges, including resisting arrest, false informing, and identity deception. Melissa Dixon was found with Runyon. She's charged with what's called visiting a common nuisance. A man accused of leading Indiana State Police on a high-speed chase on I-65 in Clark County is facing charges of aggressive and reckless driving. ISP says troopers tried to pull over 22-year-old Wesley Phillips from Tennessee on Monday afternoon because he was weaving across lanes and nearly hit a guardrail. Troopers say instead of stopping, Phillips drove away. Officers tried to use stop sticks on Phillips' Jeep, but he kept driving despite the deflated tires. ISP eventually used a pit maneuver to stop Phillips and arrest him. He's also charged with operating while intoxicated. People in Floyd County are being asked to give their thoughts on whether they think the Sheriff's Department should use body cameras with AI programs. Right now, the Floyd County Sheriff's Department does not have body cameras. However, they're considering different systems and AI tools that would work with the cameras to help generate police reports. The new survey is asking neighbors specifically about AI capabilities for community reaction. Our partners at the News and Tribune report the Sheriff's Department expects to use body cameras by the first half of next year, and we have a link to the survey in this story on wave3.com. Across the bridge in Clarksville, the town council could vote on a new police union contract today. It's on the council's agenda for today's meeting. The previous contract with the union expired last December 31st. Our partners at the News and Tribune report if the contract is approved, an officer's base salary would be $66,000. The term for this new contract ends on December 31st of 2027. Redistricting efforts started back up in Indianapolis as Indiana state lawmakers look to redraw congressional districts that are being pushed by the Trump administration. In the Hoosier state, the effort would divide Indiana's northwest corner and Indianapolis into multiple districts. Redistricting would carve up District 9, which currently covers all 10 of our Hoosier counties, into 3 separate districts. All 3 will include a different part of the Indianapolis metro. If passed, Indiana would very likely lose its only 2 Democrat-held seats in Congress, a move Governor Mike Braun previously said would keep things fair in Washington, D.C. Democratic state lawmakers, though, are calling redistricting a distraction from the issue their people actually want them to deal with. The legislation introduced Monday to adopt the new map is House Bill 1032. Aside from redrawing the lines, it gives the state Supreme Court the final say on any challenges to the new map. We asked the Indiana House Republican caucus for a comment or a statement, and so far we have not received a response. But we are dealing with the holiday season, and unfortunately, that means porch pirates are back out there on the run. We're going to talk about how that's increasing coming up in just 2 minutes. With it being the holiday season, that means porch pirates know there are a lot of gifts being shipped out right now, and you don't want thieves to be snatching your packages when they arrive. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan has tips to protect your items.
It's the season of giving, but for wannabe thieves, December is the season of opportunity as packages pile up outside people's doors. That's why experts say it's important to take extra security steps so Grinches don't grab your gifts.
We want to make sure people are aware when their packages are arriving to their doorsteps.
Richard Rocha with Amazon says the vast majority of their packages arrive without issue. But to help raise awareness about package safety, Amazon is partnering with the National Sheriff's Association this year. Last year, at least 58 million packages were stolen, and roughly 25% of Americans have been a victim. It's a crime that causes billions of dollars in financial losses a year, and these types of crimes tend to go up during the holidays. So what can you do to protect your packages? If you're not going to be home, FedEx and UPS allow you to deliver your packages to a different address. Out of town, the U.S. Postal Service will hold your mail for up to 30 days. Amazon allows users to use lockers for up to 3 days.
We have more than 25,000 locations across the U.S. where people can choose to have their packages sent, including a Whole Foods or one of our hub lockers that are available.
You can also leave instructions with your Amazon delivery driver, like request to have packages delivered behind your home. So what should you do if your packages are stolen? Rocha says call Amazon customer service. And security experts say most retailers will send you a new item, but they are getting stricter. You should also file a police report. And while security cameras can help catch the thieves in the act, law enforcement recommends not engaging with the thief. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
And definitely don't want the Grinch to steal your Christmas presents right there. But if you're looking ahead to warmer weather and some fun times, you can go ahead and get some deals for next year's Abbey Road on the River. The world's largest Beatles and classic rock festival will return to the Big Four Station Park in Jeffersonville May 21st through the 25th. And now until December 23rd, fans can get discounted single-day general admission tickets at the Southern Indiana Visitor Center on Spring Street for just $40 plus tax. You'll also get a free Abbey Road on the River tote bag. 50% of online sales today will help support Exit Zero and Maple Street Baptist Church. Those are two organizations that provide food and shelter year-round. Artists have a chance to get their own original art displayed in City Hall. Louisville Metro Council and Louisville Visual Arts are now accepting applications for the 8th annual Art in City Hall exhibition. The annual program invites artists to submit original two-dimensional work through an online application process by Monday, January 12, 2026. The submissions will be reviewed by a selection committee comprised of Metro Council and LVA representatives. The chosen artwork will then be on display from February 2026 through January of 2027 in the city's halls, entrance lobbies, hallways, and public spaces. And you might be dancing or singing along to that, getting in the Christmas spirit, because Elton John's Yuletide classic, Step Into Christmas, is officially platinum. People have been listening to that a lot. The Recording Industry Association of America has certified the 1973 song has sold more than 1 million copies. It's triple platinum in the UK, where it's re-entered the charts every December since 2011. Yeah, that's what we call a classic.
Let's start the holidays!
I can't wait for the snow!
And here's your first look at the first snow of Fraggle Rock, the new holiday special featuring the Fraggles. Gobo heads to the outer space and the human world looking for inspiration for his annual holiday song. The first snow of Fraggle Rock drops this Friday on Apple TV. So there's another thing to get you in the holiday spirit if you want to sit around and just enjoy the snow out there. Well, we have a new word of the year. Oxford University study shows rage bait is the word of the year for 2025. Have you heard of this one before? Maybe you've used it a few times. The word is used to describe the feeling the person gets when reading something online that appears to purposely incite anger or get a reaction. According to the UK-based dictionary, the use of rage bait tripled in 2025. More than 30,000 people voted to help choose the word of the year. Maybe you've heard of these. I don't know these other words. Aura Farming and Biohack were the other 2 finalists. But I have heard of rage baiting and I have used it before. So clearly it is a worthy word of the year. We're going to be right back with some sports headlines. Everyone talking about that new UK football coach. Well, I promised you we would talk about football in just a second, but first we just got an alert that TARC is currently running on its winter weather detour routes, according to a spokesperson. So riders on fixed routes, buses can receive current information by calling 502-585-1234 or follow TARC on social media. They should have some updates there. And if we go ahead and take a look at the TARC routes, you can see some of those interruptive right there. And yeah, they are able to run, but again, that will be on their winter weather detour route. So certainly something to keep in mind. But after firing UK head coach Mark Stoops, the football team seems to have already found his man, and he's a name that sounds familiar to U of L fans. UK has hired former U of L quarterback Will Stein as the new football coach. Stein has been the offensive coordinator at Oregon for the last 3 years and is considered one of the best offensive minds in the game right now. This season, the Ducks averaged 38 points per game, which ranks 9th in the FBS. Stein is from Louisville. He's played his high school ball at Trinity before going to U of L, where he started 5 games. He ended up handing the position over to Teddy Bridgewater. So, yeah, the fact that he even played with Teddy shows you just how good he was. Both of his parents went to UK. His father played defensive end at Kentucky in the 1980s under head coach Jerry Claiborne. The UK men's basketball team is gearing up for yet another top 25 matchup as the 16th ranked North Carolina Tar Heels comes to Rupp Arena tonight, part of the SEC and ACC Challenge. Coming into the season as the #1 team in the country, according to KenPom rankings, the Cats haven't lived up to expectations so far this season. And their 2 ranked games so far this year against U of L and Michigan State, the Cats have lost both while being outscored by a combined 25 points. I know Cats fans disappointed there, but the Cats are still 5-2 on the season, and sophomore Colin Chandler says the team feels like they're ready to win a big game.
I think we're hungry and excited for it. We're not shy about it. We're not shying away from North Carolina. We're coming in there ready to win.
So it'll be a late tip for Cats fans. That one is set for 9:30 in Lexington. And if you aren't making the trip in the snow and the late nights there, you can watch that game on ESPN. Meanwhile, high school basketball tipped off last night, and a familiar name took the show in night one. Ballard taking on North Oldham with the Bruins playing without two big transfers in this game, Cole Eatlin and Boogie Cook. Ballard's 6'10" freshman. Yeah, you heard that right. Mason Brivna tried his best to will the Bruins to victory. He scored 18 points. So impressive for a freshman. But it was a Rondo who stole the show. 8th grader, Pierre Rondo. You remember that last name? Yeah, he's the son of Kentucky and NBA legend Rajon Rondo. He finished the game with 29 points. Again, as an 8th grader, that's insane. The Mustangs take game one over the Bruins. That final score 75-54. Meanwhile, it was the first night for women's high school hoops, and the 5-time-in-a-row state champs, Sacred Heart, coached by head coach Don Moore, as you see right there. Sacred Heart opening the season with Breckenridge County. The Valkyries started slow, at least by their standards, taking just a 4-point lead in halftime, but they picked it up out of the break. They outscored the Fighting Tigers by 19 in the second half. Sacred Heart picks back up where they left off, winning once again, taking the season opener by a final score of 65-42. Such an exciting time in high school hoops. That's all the time we have here for Sunrise Extra. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure you keep up with us on the Wave News app, and then of course on the Wave Weather app too. That is free to download. You can send in pictures too. Show us the snow, where it looks like in your neighborhood. We would love to show all of that off. And then I know that Tawana and Brian will be keeping everything updated, holding down the fort that so many people are wondering about. And when is the snow going to melt? That's the big question. So they are the meteorologists. I will let them handle all of that, and they will keep you updated throughout the day. Thanks so much for joining us. Make sure you stay warm and stay bundled up and stay safe, especially if you have to be out on the roads.